Think you're in the top 1% of English speakers? This quiz is your chance to prove it. These aren't your textbook idioms. These are the ones that even native speakers mix up or misuse. This is more than just a quiz. It's where you separate yourself from the casual speaker and prove you're a true language nerd. So, are you ready to find out where you really stand? Let's see if you can pass. Here's how the challenge works. I'm going to give you 15 idioms, each in a sentence. For each one, you'll get 3 possible meanings and just 6 seconds to pick the right one. Keep track of your score. When it's all over, drop your final score in the comments and tell me which idiom was the absolute trickiest. And listen up, because the difficulty is going to ramp up as we go. Let's begin. Sarah decided to cut corners on the project to meet the deadline. Does this mean she A. took a shortcut through the park, B. did something poorly or cheaply, C. trimmed the edges of her paper? The correct answer is B. To cut corners means doing something in the easiest or cheapest way possible, usually by sacrificing quality. It's all about saving time or money, but at the expense of doing a job right. For example, the restaurant failed because they started cutting corners on fresh ingredients. It's an idiom with a negative vibe implying a lazy or shoddy approach. And no, it has nothing to do with actual physical corners. Question 2. He was trying to tell me something, but he just kept beating around the bush. Does this mean he was A. avoiding the main point, B. clearing plants in his garden, C. panicked and confused? The correct answer is A. When someone is beating around the bush, they're avoiding the important topic. They'll talk about anything and everything else to put off getting to the point. Imagine a friend who wants to borrow money. Instead of just asking, they talk about how expensive life is. You could finally say, "Stop beating around the bush and tell me what you need." One popular theory is that the phrase comes from hunting, where people would beat the bushes to flush out birds for the hunters, avoiding the prey's main hiding spot. Question 3. I don't know why she's so upset. It was just a storm in a teacup. Does this mean A. a small problem that has been exaggerated, B. a refreshing and energizing drink, C. a moment of sudden inspiration? The correct answer is A. a storm in a teacup, or as they say in America, a tempest in a teapot, is a huge fuss made over something tiny and unimportant. It's when a minor issue gets blown way out of proportion. If 2 coworkers have a week-long feud over who used the last coffee pod, that's a perfect storm in a teacup. It captures the absurd image of something chaotic happening in a tiny, contained space. Question 4. After John accidentally revealed the surprise party, his sister told him, "You really let the cat out of the bag." What did John do? A. He released a real animal. B. He adopted a new pet unexpectedly. C. He revealed a secret. The correct answer is C. To let the cat out of the bag is to spill a secret. It's a classic idiom, but the story behind it is what makes it great. The most popular theory comes from old market scams. A con artist would sell a farmer a pig in a poke, a pig in a bag. But sometimes they'd swap the valuable pig for a worthless cat. If the buyer opened the bag too early, letting the cat out, the scam was revealed. Question 5. He thought his new business idea would make him millions, but it turned out to be a wild goose chase. This means his idea was A. a very profitable venture, B. a hopeless and foolish search, C. an outdoor adventure. The correct answer is B. A wild goose chase is a pursuit of something you're never going to find. A total waste of time. It's trying to achieve the impossible. The phrase's origin isn't about geese at all, but likely comes from a 16th century style of horse racing, where riders had to follow a lead horse in a formation that looked like geese flying, a chaotic and pointless-looking path. It perfectly captures that feeling of a frantic, fruitless pursuit. Okay, that was the warm-up. If you aced all 5, you're off to a brilliant start. But don't get too comfortable. This is where things get tricky. Most people start dropping points here. These next idioms are what separate the advanced speakers from the experts. Question 6. The politician's empty promises were a classic case of gilding the lily. This means A, to praise someone excessively, B, to try to improve something that is already perfect, C, to invest in a failing project. The correct answer is B. To gild the lily is to add unnecessary decoration to something already beautiful. Gilding means covering in a thin layer of gold. A lily is already gorgeous, so adding gold would be pointless and probably ruin it. This one is famously derived from a misquotation of Shakespeare. In his play King John, the original line is, "To gild refined gold, to paint the lily." The modern phrase is a bit shorter, but the idea is the same. Don't mess with perfection. Question 7. For months, the threat of company-wide layoffs hung over the employees like the sword of Damocles. This means they felt A, a sense of impending doom, B, a feeling of extreme anger, C, a motivation to work harder. The correct answer is A. The sword of Damocles is a perfect metaphor for a looming, ever-present threat. The phrase comes from an ancient Greek legend about a courtier, Damocles, who was forced to sit at a banquet with a massive sword dangling over his head, held by just a single horsehair. It was a lesson that the life of a powerful person is filled with constant anxiety, so it represents the terrifying pressure of potential disaster. Question 8. The army won the battle, but with such heavy losses, it was a Pyrrhic victory. This means the victory was A, a victory that came at too high a cost, B, a victory that was achieved very easily, C, a secret and unannounced victory. The correct answer is A. A Pyrrhic victory is a win that costs you so much, it feels like a loss. It's the kind of success that makes you wonder if it was worth it. The name comes from King Pyrrhus of Epirus, who defeated the Romans but lost so many of his best soldiers that he reportedly said, "One more such victory and we are lost." You could win a lawsuit against a neighbor but destroy the friendship and drain your life savings. That's a Pyrrhic victory. Question 9. By releasing the controversial memo, the CEO crossed the Rubicon. This means he, A, took an irreversible step, B, made a serious financial mistake, C, delegated his responsibilities. The correct answer is A. To cross the Rubicon is to pass the point of no return. You've made a choice, and there's no going back. The phrase comes from Roman history, when Julius Caesar led his army across the Rubicon River in 49 BC. This was a direct violation of Roman law and an act of war. Once he crossed, there was no turning back. Today, if you quit your stable job to launch a risky startup, you've crossed the Rubicon. Question 10. After winning the championship last year, the team started to rest on their laurels. This means they began to A, train even harder than before, B, rely on past successes instead of striving for more, C, celebrate their victory for a very long time. The correct answer is B. When you rest on your laurels, you're so happy with what you've already accomplished that you stop trying. It's a warning against getting complacent. In ancient Greece, Heroes were crowned with laurel wreaths to symbolize victory. To rest on them would mean you're content with past honors and not seeking new ones. A coach might warn a star player, "Don't rest on your laurels. The other teams want your title." This is it, the final round. If you've made it this far, you're already doing incredibly well. But this final round, this is what separates the experts from the masters. These are the idioms that even native speakers often misuse or have never even heard of. Ready for the final boss? Question 11. The two political parties have been at loggerheads over the new budget for weeks. This means they are A. In violent and direct conflict, B. Working together in secret, C. Nearing a final agreement. The correct answer is A, though maybe not physically violent. To be at loggerheads means to be locked in a stubborn and intense disagreement where neither side will budge. The origin is a bit murky, but one theory links it to a 17th century tool also called a loggerhead, a long rod with an iron sphere at the end that was heated in a fire. The image of two people fighting with these hot, heavy tools would certainly be a heated and dangerous dispute. Question 12. When I asked him if he was involved, he just looked at me and smiled. As they say, a nod is as good as a wink to a blind horse. This phrase means A. A subtle signal is useless if the recipient can't understand it. B. Some people will never understand, no matter what you do. C. A small hint is enough for someone who is already in on the secret. The correct answer is A. Now, this one is tricky because its meaning has basically flipped over time. The full original phrase, "a nod is as good as a wink to a blind horse," means that any hint is wasted on someone unable or unwilling to get it. However, you'll almost always hear this shortened to "a nod's as good as a wink," which means the opposite. A small signal is all you need for someone sharp enough to understand. For this quiz, we're testing the full original meaning. Question 13. The new manager fired the old team and hired her own people. She was trying to curry favor with the company's executives. This means she was A. Trying to win approval through flattery, B. Introducing a new company culture, C. Cooking a special meal for her bosses. The correct answer is A. To curry favor is to suck up to someone to get their approval, usually in a way that feels insincere, and its origin has nothing to do with Indian curry. It actually comes from a 14th century French poem about a conniving horse named Fauvel. People would curry or groom Fauvel to show they were part of his world of deceit. Over centuries, curry Fauvel was corrupted into curry favor. Question 14. After the argument with his colleagues, he was sent to Coventry. This means A. He was given a promotion to a new city. B. He was deliberately ignored and ostracized by others. C. He was sent on a mandatory business trip. The correct answer is B. To be sent to Coventry is a wonderfully British way of saying you're being given the silent treatment. It's when a group of people deliberately ostracizes someone by ignoring them completely. The origin is debated, but one popular theory takes us back to the English Civil War, where royalist prisoners were held in the city of Coventry. The locals, who were strongly against them, supposedly ignored them completely, making it a form of psychological punishment. Question 15. You just need to add the final piece of code, and then Bob's your uncle. This phrase is used to say, A. You will need help from a relative. B. The task is much harder than it looks. C. And there you have it. It's that simple. The correct answer is C. Bob's your uncle is a cheerful, very British phrase you tack onto the end of simple instructions. It just means, and there you have it, or It's as easy as that. For example, take the first left, second right, and Bob's your uncle. You're there. The most likely origin story is a great bit of political history, linked to a British Prime Minister, Robert Bob Cecil, who appointed his nephew to a powerful post. The phrase supposedly became a sarcastic way to say that success is easy if you've got the right connections. Time's up. The quiz is over. So, how did you do? If you scored between 5 and 9, you've got a fantastic foundation. You know the common idioms well, though some of the more historical ones might have tripped you up. That's a great score to build on. If you scored between 10 and 13, congratulations. You are an English expert. You have a deep knowledge of the language that goes way beyond the average learner. You should be seriously proud of that. And if you scored 14 or a perfect 15, welcome to the 1% club. You are a true language master. You understand English on a level that, frankly, many native speakers don't. That is incredibly impressive. Did you get a perfect score? What was your final count? Drop it in the comments below. I want to hear which idiom stumped you the most. If you had fun, challenge a friend by sharing this video and see if they can beat your score. And of course, if you want to keep testing your skills, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more challenges just like this one. Thanks for playing, and I'll see you in the next one.